Move what she said.
I'll second what she said.
Very good. And won't reread it. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The amendment to the resolution passes. Thank you, everyone, for getting this important piece done.
Hopefully wheat harvest is over.
That would be nice, but I don't think you agrarians are gonna complain about rain.
No, we're not.
Okay. Next up, we'll hear from the planner. Good morning. Please announce for the viewing public.
Good morning. My name is Dante Thompson. I'm a planner with Neighborhood and Development Services. The applicant is requesting to rezone the property generally located at 5657 West 7 Mile Road from RI Rural Industrial to RR Rural, Rural Residential District. The property is currently vacant and contains approximately 2.8 acres. The applicant intends to place a residentially designed and manufactured home on the property. Single-family homes, including RDMHs, are permitted within the RR Rural Residential District and will require a building permit. This property is also located within the special hazard, special flood hazard area zone A and will require a pre-construction elevation certificate along with a floodplain development permit before a building permit may be issued. The proposed land use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan / future land use map has this property categorized as mixed use potential, which includes residential, commercial, and light industrial. The surrounding properties include a primary use of residential and agricultural. Rezoning the property will not affect any of the surrounding properties. The governing body may make its decision and state its findings according to the criteria in section 27.040. Included in the memo is the list of criteria. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the rezone request at its June 20th, 2024 meeting, to which the minutes are attached. There are three alternatives in front of you. The Board of County Commissioners may adopt the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the proposed ordinance. Two, the Board of County Commissioners may override the Planning Commission's recommendation by a 2/3 majority vote, or the Board of County Commissioners may return the recommendation to the Planning Commission with a statement specifying the basis for the governing body's failure to approve or disapprove. And staff recommends adopting the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the proposed resolution. The property owners are present, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions from the commission?
I have one. The minutes on this, the approval from the Planning Commission was dated May 16, 2024, at which time I was a member of the Planning Commission. Would it be appropriate for me to vote today?
That goes into the legal Eagles department.
All the hands are going this way.
I think it would be easier if you would recuse from the vote.
Okay, I'll do so.
And the resolution for adoption is number 18. It was not in your packet, so I wanted to mention that.
Okay, do we have the 18 today with us? Let's review it before we vote then.
And the resolution was in the packet, just not the numbering.
Okay. Would you pass that down, Mr. Williams? Well, Vicki, although you're going to recuse from the vote, Commissioner Gurman, I would ask, in your opinion, do you think the commission should approve this zoning change?
Yes, I would definitely say we should approve it. It was pretty easy, not really much discussion at the Planning Commission meeting.
Is there any further discussion? If not, then a motion, sir?
Mr. Chairman, I move we adopt resolution 18-2025.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the amendment. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mike, did you?
No, I said aye. I'm sorry.
Motion carries, and Vicki, Commissioner Gurman is recusing. Motion carries. Don't go very far. Next up is a partial plat request. Please proceed, Mr. Thompson.
Pro Stake Surveying on behalf of the property owner is requesting to plat the Christian Ranch Edition parcel plat. The property is generally located at 5657 West 7 Mile Road and is currently zoned RI Rural Industrial District, but a rezone request to RR Rural Residential will be considered as a separate agenda item as you just did. The lot is currently vacant and the property owner intends to use it for residential purposes by placing a new home on the lot, which will require a building permit. The plat was presented for a second submittal review on April 17th, 2025, and met the minimum requirements of the zoning and subdivision regulations. The Planning Commission recommended approval of their plat at their May 15th, 2025 meeting, which the meeting minutes are attached. There are two alternatives in front of you. The governing body may approve the parcel plat, or two, the governing body may not approve the parcel plat. And staff recommends adopting the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the parcel plat. Pro Stake Surveying, Burt West, on behalf of Pro Stake Surveying, is present, and so are the property owners.
All right, questions for Mr. Thompson? If not, do we want to approve this Christian Ranch Edition parcel plat? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the Christian Ranch Edition as submitted. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Clerk, make sure I'm signing the right one. Today is the 16th all day. All right, good morning.
Morning.
Next on our agenda, we'll hear from John Persisto.
Dwayne Palmberg, on behalf of the property owner, is requesting to plat the Areola Edition parcel plat. The property is generally located at 1513 West Mary Street. The property contains 5.744 acres and is currently zoned I1, I2 Light Medium Industrial District and GC General Commercial District. The lot contains one building on the property, and the property owner plans to build a new building in the future for his business. The plat was presented for a second submittal review on May 14th, 2025, and met the minimum requirements of the zoning and subdivision regulations. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the plat at the May 15th, 2025 meeting, which the meeting minutes are attached. There are two alternatives before you today. The governing body may approve the parcel plat, and two, the governing body may not approve the parcel plat. And staff recommends adopting the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the parcel plat, and there is no fiscal impact.
Questions, commissioners, for the planner? Is there a motion to approve the requested plat?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the, to get the name correctly, Areola Edition as submitted. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Sign.
Thank you.
I need to sign all of these. Mr. Thompson, you're back.
Yes.
Next on our agenda is Can Equip Edition.
Correct. Alrighty. Dwayne Palmberg, on behalf of the property owner, is requesting to plat the Can Equip Edition parcel plat. The property is generally located at 2701 West Jones Avenue and is currently zoned I1, I2 Light to Medium Industrial District. The lot contains several buildings, including a newly constructed building approved through the site plan review process last year. Although a building permit was issued for the building won't be issued a certificate of occupancy or a CO until the plat is recorded with the Register of Deeds. The plat was presented for a fourth submittal review on May 30th, 2025, and met the minimum requirements of the subdivision and zoning regulations. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the plat at their May 15th, 2025 meeting, to which the meeting minutes are attached. The governing body may approve the parcel plat, or two, the governing body may not approve the parcel plat. And staff recommends adopting the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the parcel plat. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the partial plat.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Can-Equip Edition plat as presented, partial plat as presented. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I'll approve the plat, but I don't believe I have it. I have Gallardo and I don't have.
Correct.
All right, we'll sign it when it's presented. All right. Mr. Thompson, you're back again for another edition?
Yes. The applicant is requesting to plat the Gallardo Edition parcel plat. The property is generally located at 906 West Maple Street and is currently zoned RR Rural Residential District. The lot contains one home on the north, and while the south is vacant. In preliminary conversations and requests from the property owner, the north lot will remain residential, while the owner intends to use the south lot for commercial truck training. Should the owner choose to proceed with the commercial truck training, a rezone will be required. The plat was presented for a first submittal review on April 14th, 2025, and met the minimum requirements of the subdivision and zoning regulations. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the plat at their May 15th, 2025 meeting, to which the minutes are attached. There are two alternatives in front of you. The governing body may approve the parcel plat, or two, the governing body may not approve the parcel plat. And staff recommends adopting the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the parcel plat. The applicants and the surveyor are present here today.
All right, commissioners, any questions? So if I understand this correctly, before we do any truck training there, it's going to have a rezone?
Correct.
Well, I think it's important in our community that we provide that opportunity should the need arise, but I won't prejudge it. It's just important to our community that heavy trucks are part of our infrastructure and hopefully continued growth in our economy. All right, if not, then is there a motion to approve the proposed parcel plat division of Gallardo subdivision as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the parcel plat.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Gallardo subdivision parcel plat as presented. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Signature goes downhill. Next on our agenda is to hear from Kenny Smith, Emergency Medical Services Director, regarding MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding between EMS and Garden City Fire Department. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny Smith, Director of EMS. In October of '21, the governing body approved an MOU between Finney County EMS and Garden City Fire Department due to a high call volume and low staffing numbers. Currently, the fire department assists all code blues and other life-saving or life-threatening calls. The fire department will also run as a second out, being backup for EMS when all ambulances are busy with other patients, minimizing the delay of first responders arriving on scene. Over the last few years, the fire department personnel who are certified as emergency medical technicians or EMTs were able to assist with patient care alongside with EMS in the back of the ambulance. Additionally, non-certified personnel were able to assist with driving ambulances to the hospital while Finney County EMS staff have assisted patients in the back of the ambulance. The updated MOU being presented has been modified to add emergency vehicle operations. Alternatives before you is one, approve and authorize the chair to sign the new MOU between Finney County Emergency Medical Services and the Garden City Fire Department, or two, deny the new memorandum of understanding between Finney County Emergency Medical Services and the Garden City Fire Department. Recommendation, staff recommends governing body to approve alternative one, approve the updated MOU between Finney County EMS and the Garden City Fire Department.
Questions for our director?
Have you made any changes in the way your operation is going with the fire department now that you're in charge? Or?
Not really. What the MOU just really outlines that they are able to drive and ultimately be covered if anything does happen. As far as any changes, it all kind of really stands the same. We've added a few call types that they respond to now, but ultimately the relationship is basically the same. I think there's been more internal change than there has been external change of any measure on that end.
Any other questions? All right. Council, have you reviewed the proposed agreement?
I have.
And do you approve?
Yes.
Commissioners?
Mr. Chair, I would recommend that we approve and authorize the chair to sign the new memorandum of understanding between the Finney County EMS and the Garden City Fire Department.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the memorandum of understanding as outlined in the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll hear from the interim administrator, Mr. Meeker, about insurance renewal recommendation by the insurance committee. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. Gary Meager, Interim County Administrator. On April 7th, 2025, the Board of County Commissioners selected Iron Insurance to be their broker and to present proposals from insurance providers for the renewal on July 1st of 2025. At the same time, the Board of County Commissioners also asked the representative of the Kansas County Association Pool, or KCAMP, to submit a proposal for consideration for the renewal. On June 4th, the Insurance Selection Committee met with representatives of KCAMP and Iron Insurance to review the proposals and that were presented. The Insurance Committee consists of Commissioner Utes, Commissioner Basque, County Clerk, County Treasurer, Captain Orbaugh from the Sheriff's Department, and the Human Relations Director, and myself. After hearing the presentation, the committee formulated a recommendation to select the proposal that Iron Insurance submitted. This proposal would renew the coverage the county currently has with Travelers Insurance. I want to make a few comments. First of all, I want to thank the representatives of KCAMP and Iron Insurance for taking the time to put together the proposals and meet with the insurance committee. This is a comprehensive insurance package, and it's a difficult decision because the committee felt there were advantages and disadvantages to each proposal. The committee does believe that both Iron Insurance and KCAMP were responsive and are capable of providing good service. Since the insurance renewal is on July 1st, the committee had to make a recommendation to the commission quickly to get the approval to meet the renewal deadline. Therefore, the committee made the recommendation to select the Travelers Insurance for the following reasons. Number one, Travelers Insurance covers the building and operations of the JDC, whereas KCAMP, the KCAMP policy would only cover the building. This would require the county to search for liability coverage for from another source, and the committee did not believe there was adequate time to secure a competitive quote. Secondly, the KCAMP policy limits general liability and several other liability coverages to $500,000 per accident or claim unless it falls outside the Tort Claims Act. Since the county has some agreements that require the county to have more insurance than that, the county would need to identify which agreements would be impacted, and then determine if the parties to the agreement would consent to the change. Here again, the committee did not believe there was sufficient time to complete this task before the renewal. The presentations, both K-Camp and Iron Insurance, were very helpful to help better understand the coverage that each organization provides and how they approach risk. Since the current insurance renewal date is July 1st, and the normal renewal date for K-Camp is January 1st, the county could choose to join K-Camp insurance pool in the future. And how this works is that K-Camp gave a annual amount, but the coverage would really be between July 1st and the first of the year, and then it would renew. That's when we would be on that renewal cycle. Rather than July 1st to June 30th, it would be January 1st to the end of the year. Therefore, the alternatives to the commission would be to accept Iron Insurance proposal from Travelers in the amount of $716,338, or alternative 2 would be to accept a proposal from K-Camp in the amount of $644,124. The recommendation is to select the number 1 alternative for Travelers Insurance to renew the current policy.
All right, questions for the administrator?
The difference in cost, I assume, is due to the coverage that K-Camp isn't able to provide?
Well, there are probably a lot of differences, and I don't know that I could articulate all those, but there is definitely a difference in the amount, but again, coverages do differ also.
Okay.
Any other questions for Gary?
They asked, why not cover JDC? Was that what?
It was my understanding, and I'll let the insurance committee members that are here, but it was my understanding that they felt that because we have an advisory board that's involved in this process, that it really should be a separate policy or a separate coverage.
Other than the facility, correct?
Yeah, the building, they would insure. It's just the liability for the operations, if you will.
And I would say that we could look into the cost of insuring it separately, to
Well,
get a more.
Kind of stands to reason because, it's 13 county consortium.
Yeah, and it might be one of those things we would want to talk with them a little bit, because they, even though we do have a consortium, the operations are really, they're county employees. It's, the Board of County Commissioners is ultimately the authority, and then, of course, the administrator and the director are county employees. So, but it'd be something that we would, as Dory had indicated, something we'd have to look into. We just didn't have that time to be able to, we didn't know that was going to be an issue. So.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, we do have representatives from each of the proposed companies here. It seems from the chair's perspective, given the exhaustive work that was done by the insurance committee, that there's not any reason to further delay decision-making. However, if any commissioner wishes to hear from K-Camp or Travelers, I'm more than willing to spend the time to do it. Commissioners?
I think the insurance committee did a great job. Both companies presented to the committee, and the underlying, Gary pretty well laid out one of the underlying issues why we were having to go with the recommendation for Iron Insurance. So I'm good.
All right, very good. Any other commissioner want to hear from the insurance companies?
No, just a question, Commissioner Youths. So do you think maybe next year we should just start a little earlier or at least we know that that is a challenge with K-Camp and we can investigate that.
I think, I would recommend that we be cautious of doing it every year. Doesn't paint a positive picture with our insurance carriers. I think we should evaluate it probably every 3 years.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Commissioner Jones?
I don't know, I don't have much sympathy for insurance companies right now. And every 3 years, I don't know, the amount of money we're paying them, I think they could do it every year.
Well, I think that we want to evaluate and have the counselor and administrator propose to us how many of our contracts require insurance that exceeds the ability of K-Camp to insure us at the statutory limit under the Torts Claims Act is $500,000. And we have several contracts that require liability insurance in excess of $500,000. So we first need to evaluate how many of those we have, and then we could circle back with K-Camp, and perhaps that might be a new job for the new administrator for evaluation next year. Those are my 10 cents worth. I really thank the people from K-Camp appearing today, and I know you traveled quite a ways. Gary, go ahead and have a chair. Do you wish to address the commission today? You've traveled a long ways. Would you go to the microphone? Because the microphone might not pick up your voice unless you scream at it.
David Lamb with K-Camp. We do appreciate your looking into it, and we would be happy to work on bids with you for another year if that opportunity comes up. I do know that at times we have been able to help counties place some additional insurance that we didn't carry ourselves through our broker that we work with. So that could be an option too if you get to that point of looking at it again.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Would note, this insurance exercise has saved the taxpayers money. And Trent Speck from Iron Insurance is here. I'm not going to ask you to address the commission. It appears to me that you've weathered the economic travails of securing this insurance for the county, and we appreciate Iron Insurance and your personal touch on this, Trent. And thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve the committee's proposal to have an insurance renewal with Iron Insurance?
Mr. Chair, I would move that we accept the Iron Insurance proposal from Travelers Insurance in the amount of $716,338.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the insurance proposal to insure the county's property and liability for another year at $716,338. And the noted savings to the taxpayers have been made. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear from Lana Duvall.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have just a few updates for you. First of all, we have some movement on a residential project, which is exciting. We have Prairie Acres. There's just over 30 lots that will be developed as single family. This is a project that's been underway for quite a while, and they got a few duplexes and single family homes done and then kind of came to a standstill. Fortunately, German, not custom homes anymore. Sorry. German Construction has purchased those lots and has a plan to get those developed in their entirety over the next 2.5, 3 years. So we're very excited about that. They've redesigned those to fit. Those have a little bit of a quirk because they're very narrow and deep lots, but they were able to design around that, and the city is pleased with the design they've come up with. So hopefully those will be able to start right away, which is very beneficial to our community, as we all know. One of the other things I'd update you on, we are partnering with Higher Paths, which is a group that had reached out to us about doing middle school career exploration. So as you all know, we do partner with the Southwest Kansas Career Showcase for the high school students, but this was an opportunity to get to those students even earlier in the process, which for some of the higher education requirement degree programs is very wise. The sooner we're able to get in front of them and talk to them about the importance of grades and the importance of the types of classes they're taking, that's a benefit for those students. So they did last year, they did 2 pilot schools. They did Manhattan and Hayes. And this year they wanted to add some additional communities, so they reached out to us. We asked that we involve the Career Showcase group so that we don't have any stepping on toes, if you will. We wanted to make sure that it could be beneficial to all of our programs and not have any issues where somebody feels like they got left out. So we're excited about that. We'll get back with you guys when we have dates for that. They do cover a variety of career opportunities within one event. So where the Career Showcase breaks it up kind of by type, this group will have all of they have 12. We get to choose which of those 12 we feel are most important for our region. But we'll keep you guys apprised of that so you can take part in that if you have an interest. We're hoping that we'll be able to accommodate 300 middle schoolers in that event. So it's going to be a big undertaking, but I think it'll be worth it when we get it done. Kansas College of Osteopathic Medicine, their students were in town last week. If you didn't get the opportunity to see them, I'm sorry. We did a really fun tour with them last Thursday, and then finished that by taking them to the Garden City Wind game. So they seem to be pretty excited about that. It was interesting in that group, only 3 of them were from Kansas. The rest were from all over the country. So it was fun to see them. For most of them, it was their first time this is their first time to Kansas, and this was obviously their first time to Western Kansas. So it was really fun to see their reaction. And all of them commented that, wow, this town is way bigger than we thought it was. We were just going back and forth between the hotel and the hospital, and it didn't seem that big until we took the tour. So there's always a benefit in doing that, and it was exciting to get to do that. That same day, we did a tour with a commercial development group that has an interest in developing in the community. That was their first visit to the community as well, and they were very impressed with all the things that are going on here. So big kudos to our city and county for the things that we're doing to make our community appear even better than a lot of the area. So thank you for that. One other thing that I think I should probably touch on. So last week, 2 weeks ago at the City Commission meeting, the Sports of the World Star Bond Phase 2 was, that petition was heard by the City Commission. If you didn't have the opportunity to watch that, I'll give you the very, very smallest update to that. So there were some questions about the sales tax collection related to the Star Bond. And I've gotten some follow-up calls in the office on this as well, so I want to cover a couple of things. You do not pay extra sales tax at Shulman Crossing. It is the standard sales tax rate, with the exception of Old Navy that does have a CID in place. That's completely unrelated to the Star Bond project. You do not pay additional sales tax for the Star Bond project itself. The state has dedicated their portion of the sales tax, and the city has dedicated their unobligated portion of the sales tax to the Star Bond. That is it. There is no extra sales tax. I think what's confusing some folks, and we've had calls on this since they first put the food sales tax reduction in place. When people look at their receipt, if they have purchased food items as well as non-food items, when you look at the sales tax, it shows 2 separate sales tax lines. One sales tax showing standard sales tax, and then there's another one under it that shows a lesser amount. That's because part of the items you purchased are still taxed at full sales tax rate. The food items you purchased were taxed at the lesser sales tax rate because the state did reduce their portion of the sales tax collected on food items. You're not being charged both of those rates on all of your purchases. You're only being charged the higher portion of sales tax on non-food items and the lower portion on food items. So we've walked a lot of folks through it. We've done the math with them to show them what sales tax is being applied where, but I think it's still a question that comes up regularly, and I just want to make sure people do understand it. I was also asked to be on Mike Ward's radio show this coming Saturday morning to explain it on the radio show. So hopefully we'll get some clarification out there for folks and help them understand how the sales tax is working. But you are not paying additional sales tax for the Star Bond project. Those are just dedications of the existing sales tax to the projects. And I will just quick number, since we did update numbers, the state is covering well over 90% of this Star Bond project that's currently in place. Their sales tax is obviously the lion's share of what gets collected there. So those are dollars that we're able to dedicate back to our community for a project that our community can benefit from, versus sending those sales tax dollars to the general fund in Topeka and hoping that some of them trickle down, if you will. So any questions I can answer?
Well, I didn't watch the meeting, but I assume that the amendments to this Star Bond were approved by the city commission.
They were.
Very good. Other questions?
The only comment I've had is I'm glad you're clarifying the sales tax issue, because we're gonna need that.
Yes. Yeah, it's, again, and it's easy to understand how people can be confused by it, because when you first see those receipts, it does look like there are, it's just in line with, here's a sales tax and then here's a sales tax. So I can certainly understand why people think that they're paying both sales tax on all of the items. They just aren't. And again, we're always happy to help people and show them the math to help them understand that they really aren't. They're actually saving total sales tax dollars because of the state's reduction in food sales tax.
All right, other questions?
Lana, I appreciate that as well, the clarification, and that you're really pushing out that message. If there's a way to put a document together for both city and county to maybe share on our Facebook pages.
We're actually working on a one-sheeter right now. We'd be happy to share that with you all. And you
Because-
can take whatever you'd like from that.
Because I have also heard from the community, we're getting ready to put on a sales tax for the LAC jail. There's this perception that we're increasing sales tax, and I think it's a miscommunication as well as perceptions out there. And I think if we put it out in front of our community, they'll have a better understanding.
Yeah, we'll be happy to share that with you. And then if you guys want to modify it or use part of it and whatever you want to do, you're welcome to it.
I just think the transparency is very important.
Agreed.
Chairman, I was at that meeting, the public hearing, and Lana was able to speak to the folks there. There actually were people there who thought their property taxes were going to pay for the Star Bond, so she did explain that as well.
All right, very good. I would also comment, finally, that I appreciate economic development providing some additional information for our middle schoolers, nearly 300 if my notes are correct. And your cooperation in working with the Western Kansas Showcase is important. That showcase has expanded into Northwest Kansas. So Western Kansas is really thriving on the issue of growing them up here at home and keeping them at home, and we appreciate your efforts in that regard.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Interim County Administrator, Mr. Meager, regarding a county appraiser.
Again, Gary Meager, Interim County Administrator. The Finney County Appraiser, Maria Castillo, resigned her position, and her appointment ends on June 30th of this year. Applications are currently being accepted. The state law provides that in the event of a vacancy in the county appraiser's office, the Board of County Commissioners may appoint an interim county appraiser with the approval of the Director of Property Valuation for a period of not to exceed 6 months. The recommendation is that for the commission to appoint Darwin Matwick as the interim appraiser for a term not to exceed 6 months, starting July 1st of 2025. Darwin has been with the appraiser's office since about 2019. He's taken most of the required courses to become an appraiser. He's not quite there yet, but within the 6 months, he very well could be in that position. But for the time being, we are in the process of interviewing appraisers, and so we'll be coming back to you at some point with a recommendation on appointing somebody as your regular appraiser. But for the time being, we would like for you to consider accepting a recommendation to appoint Darwin Matwick as the interim county appraiser for a term not to exceed 6 months, starting July 1st of 2025. The other alternative would be to reject the recommendation to appoint Darwin Matwick and provide further direction.
Questions for the administrator on this subject? Hearing none, is there a motion then to appoint Darwin Matwick as the interim county appraiser by resolution? The one that's proposed for us has Commissioner Basque signing it in the portion of it. I'd just like to amend that printed one to show that he was not present today.
Yeah, I usually indicate absences on those.
But the one that we have to sign today has his signature on it. Is it ready for signature today? No, it has a signature line for him and states that he's present.
Oh, okay, I see.
He had an emergency, couldn't make it today. All right,
Mr. Chairman, I move we appoint Darwin as the interim appraiser.
all right, can we make the amendments to the proposed resolution 16/2025 as
So moved.
suggested? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve 16/2025 as amended, and appointing Darwin Matwick for, as the interim county appraiser for 6 months, beginning July 1st, 2025. Is there any further discussion?
I just have a clarification. Is it Martwick or Matwick?
I think it's
Martwick.
Martwick? Okay. Okay, all right. Very good. I see that he's here. Good morning.
Congratulations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Darwin, you're it.
Just walked in, he gets the job.
Gets the job. Don't volunteer unless you get the job.
I'll get that modified and have it back up here for
Oh, wow,
signature.
just pencil through it. We'll go on.
I already wrote on it. I already messed this.
Yes, ma'am. We'll do as the clerk and the counselor require. On then to the Safe Streets and Action Plan. We'll hear from Mackenzie Phillips.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Mackenzie Phillips, Development and Administrative Coordinator. This morning, you're asked to consider and approve Resolution 17-2025 to adopt the Safe Streets for All Action Plan. The Safe Streets for All, which is also referenced as SS4A, is a federal grant program that aims to eliminate fatal and serious injuries for all road users. The SS4A program provides funding for planning, demonstration projects, and construction projects. An action plan is required before communities are eligible to receive, demonstration and construction funding. In 2022, joint communities along the US 83 corridor, including the city of Garden City and Finney County, were awarded $1.36 million from the United States Department of Transportation and $340,000 from the Kansas Department of Transportation to develop an SS4A action plan for each community involved. The action plans were completed earlier this year. If approved, Resolution 17-2025 will adopt the implementation of the SS4A action plan and a Vision Zero policy proclaiming Finney County's commitment to end traffic fatalities and serious injury accidents. So the alternatives before you today are the Board of County Commissioners may approve Resolution 17-2025 to adopt the Safe Streets for All action plan, or the Board of County Commissioners may not approve Resolution 17-2025. And staff recommends alternative 1.
Questions for Ms. Phillips?
Mr. Chairman.
Sir.
Not a question, but a comment, and I've expressed this to Mackenzie before. You know, I have no problem getting our tax money dollars back from the government back into the community, but when they dictate all these other things that we have to do, hoops to jump through, and I don't have any problem with the stop signs and what they're trying to do, but when they start degrading our road beds with rumble strips on rural roads, I have a little problem with that, and I don't know if I'll vote for this or not, but that just, you know, in the long run, I think those things will degrade our blacktop, and we'll rue the day that we did that, but we'll see.
Any other comments for Mackenzie? Is there a motion to approve the Safe Streets for All Action plan as presented?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve for the Board of County Commission, approve Resolution 17-2025 to adopt the Safe Streets for All Action Plan.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution as stated in the motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Don't go anywhere, Mackenzie. Next, you have a supplemental KDOT agreement.
Yes. Again, I'm Mackenzie Phillips, the Development Administrative Coordinator. This morning, the Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider the approval of a supplemental agreement with the Kansas Department of Transportation to set a maximum limit in funding available for the federal fiscal year 2025 high-risk rural road project on Maple Street. Finney County was awarded funding from KDOT for the federal fiscal year 2025 high-risk rural road, also known as HRRR, program for safety improvements to a 1-mile stretch of road of Maple Street from Taylor Avenue to VFW Road. The HRRR program is part of the Highway Safety Improvement Program administered by KDOT. The program allows federal funds to be used to pay at least 90% of the cost of construction and construction engineering for projects intended to improve the safety of rural roads. The county is responsible for all non-eligible costs, including preliminary engineering and the 10% match. The Maple Street HRRR project includes the following safety improvements to Maple Street from Taylor Avenue to VFW. And that would be to include retroreflective edge line, install a retroreflective center line, delineate roadside hazards with retroreflective markers, clear any grub up to 15 feet off of the edge of the road, remove and relocate fixed objects in the clear zone, and to pave a 2-foot shoulder with safety edge on both sides of the road. So in addition to this HRRR project, the Public Works Department does intend to mill and overlay Maple Street. It has a lot of wheel ruts in it, and so with this project, we felt that it was necessary. On May 6, 2024, the Board of County Commissioners approved the project agreement with KDOT for the federal fiscal year 2025 HRRR Maple Street project. KDOT has since submitted a supplemental agreement to set a maximum funding limit available at $546,000. And just to note, they did do this across the board for all HRRR projects, and this is a standard that they're moving forward with, that they're going to be setting maximums on. It was just something that they didn't include in the first project agreements that they sent out. So the alternatives before you this morning, the Board of County Commissioners may approve and sign the supplemental KDOT agreement for the federal fiscal year 2025 HRRR project, or the Board of County Commissioners may not approve and sign the supplemental KDOT agreement. And just to note the fiscal impact, the costs for the construction and construction engineering are anticipated to be $549,000 total. If the supplemental contract is approved, the county will be responsible for 10% of the total participating costs of the construction and construction engineering up to KDOT's limit of $546,000. So anything over that 400 or 546,000 limit, the county will be responsible for 100% of that cost. And
About 3,000 if my math's any good.
anticipated, yes. And that's before, we don't have any of the bids in, so we don't know the actual costs. And then we don't have any estimated costs currently for what the asphalt mill and overlay will be.
Mr. Meager, if there's overruns on this project, have we budgeted sufficient funds in the road fund to pay the difference?
Yes, we should have the.
And we have adequate cash in case our auditors are listening. We do comply with the cash and budget law requirements.
Yes, we should be able to do that.
All right, very good. Mackenzie, any other comments? Sorry for the interruption.
No, you're fine.
Questions, commissioners?
You're gonna widen the roadway, is that, I heard you.
There's gonna be 2-foot paved shoulders on either side of the road. So it's not widening the road way, it's just adding the paved shoulders on either side.
Fairly familiar with that, I use that one frequently, but you're gonna have to move a lot of mailboxes, looks to me like.
Yes.
Some of them are rather permanent looking structures.
Yeah, we've,
And as you recall, you're gonna have to have 15 feet of setback from the road as we clean up Maple Street. So
Yep.
one of Mackenzie's jobs was to make sure that the natives understood what we were doing, and I've not heard anything from anybody along Maple contrary to wanting to get Maple improved.
we have not,
VFW, correct?
No, from Main Street.
from Taylor to VFW. Yeah, Taylor to VFW. Yeah, and we have not sent out letters yet. We did do the field check and identified all of the mailboxes that will need to be moved and other hazards within that area. So we will be sending out letters to have a public meeting to address any concerns and let them know what the project entails.
Make sure you're gonna attend all of those meetings.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of public comments you have on this.
We did the same thing with VFW Road when we did that. We ended up not having as many people as we thought we were gonna have attend. But yeah, we will definitely make sure.
It's nice to get some money back from the feds to improve those vital streets to our economy. They got a whole nother subject for Gary and I to discuss at another time with construction going on, use of those streets by heavy vehicles. So we'll continue to work on this. We need a motion to approve the supplemental KDOT agreement. Is there such a motion?
May I ask a question?
Sure you can.
I noticed that on this project, there are no rumble strips unless grub. I don't really know what clear and grub
That would just be like any,
plant.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This project was, the application was submitted under the previous Public Works Director's regime, and he was strongly against rumble strips, and so that was part of the reason why.
Okay, that was gonna be my next question. So we can request that we not have rumble strips and still utilize these funds?
Yes, now I will say that KDOT, I think there was one year that we didn't include rumble strips and we did not get funding. Rumble strips is one of it ranks high on the safety factors, and so when they're considering these projects, they do look for that, and so that's part of the reason I feel probably Old 83 got chose this last time.
Right, I wonder if speed is a factor in the rumble strips. At lower speeds, you don't,
Yeah,
or what?
I'm not sure.
Anyway,
CW's here if you have any questions for him, but I don't know if he knows the answer to that one. I'm guessing not. So,
Please introduce yourself for the viewing public, sir.
CW Harper, acting county engineer with Kirk Michael. Speed's going to have some effect on it just simply because your crash impact is going to be much higher with higher speeds, so reducing crashes at higher speeds is going to save more lives. And I think there are rumble strips on here, but they're shoulder rumble strips. They're on the new paved shoulders, not on the center line, which the shoulders generally will be more solid and not have that joint in them, so it won't be as big of a deal.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve the amended or supplemental KDOT agreement?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve alternative one.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve alternative number 1 for the fiscal year 2025 HRRR supplemental KDOT agreement as presented in our package. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we're all signing.
Thank you.
Motion
Thank
carried.
you.
Or do you want to take a break?
Up to you.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll reconvene at 9:45. Development reports from development, please.
Morning again, Chairman and Commissioners. Mackenzie Phillips, Development and Administrative Coordinator. I don't really have any updates for you this morning. I did put, our GIS department was able to fly some new aerials for Western Kansas Corridor, so those are in your packet. And then I also was out at Country Acres last week and saw that there is another house going up, so we'll get some updated aerials for that area as well.
Wonderful. Questions for Mackenzie?
Okay, thank you.
Report from EMS. The new EMS director, please announce yourself for the viewing public.
Good morning again, Kenny Smith, the Director of EMS. This report kind of just trying to provide a little bit more transparency on what we do, just to kind of give you, the board, a little insight of how we're doing and all that good stuff. I just provided in there some staff stuff that we're doing, created a hiring board, a uniform committee, and a recruitment committee, and that just basically helps take the load off of me more or less than anything. They are doing great. We are in the process. We have 2 people next week starting full-time, another 4 on the reserve squad. We're going to have another round of interviews, hopefully this week or next week. 1 for full-time and 2 others for reserve squad. So little by little, we're scratching away at our low numbers. I know I kind of had quarterly report on there, and it's not quite quarterly. It kind of involves April in here as well, but I kind of want to give you the full scope from January 1 as far as how busy we are, what we're doing, and all that good stuff. So on the first page, the call volume between 1:1 and 4:30. So the garden zones is Garden and Holcomb. We split between Sherlock Road, between Garden and Holcomb. So anything east of Sherlock is considered garden zones, whether it's going to be an in-town garden zone or a Finney County garden zone, if you will. And then west of Sherlock is the Holcomb zones, which includes the city of Holcomb, Sherlock Township, all that good stuff. To kind of give you just a quick snapshot, air medicals is all the things as far as we have to go pick up the air crew from the airport, bring them in for them to get the patient and put them back out. In the 4 months, we've had 136 calls, 115 calls to nursing homes, 68 calls to Holcomb, and that does include, again, Sherlock Township, and anything west of Sherlock anyway. And then all the garden zones, a little over 1,100 calls. Moving through, just kind of giving you another snapshot, just kind of our busy days for that first 4 months is Wednesdays and Saturdays. Just kind of give you an idea. January was our busy month out of the 4 months as well. And then the breakdown breaks it down a little bit further on the last pie chart. Kind of breaks it down a little bit further as far as whether it's a Station 1 response or a Station 3 response. We did start adding Station 3 into our run sheet program last year, just to kind of give an overview, to kind of give a little bit of, how busy is Station 3 going to be type of thing. And between the Station 1 and Station 3, Station 1 city response is 531, and then Station 3 city is 243. So almost half of Station 1. So definitely our Station 1 is our busy station. And then it just breaks it out even further, just to kind of give you guys a synopsis of what we do, where we go, where our resources are more needed over the other type of thing, stuff like that. But again, I just wanted to try to build a little bit of transparency with you all, to show you what we do and how busy we can be. So right now we're staffing on average 2 ambulances a day is about our common. Our full staff would be 3 ambulances a day. There are days, depending on if there's people sick or vacation or something like that, that we go down to 1 truck and 1 supervisor on a day. And that's when we really lean into our MOU with Garden City Fire to help us out. And they do a great job. So,
All right, questions for the new EMS director? I probably won't say that next month.
you're okay.
I have a comment,
Yes.
Chairman. Excellent report. I really appreciate this. A lot of good information here, and I appreciate you hitting the ground running. You did a nice job.
Thank you.
Very thankful.
Yep. Couldn't do it without them. It's definitely a team effort, so.
How is your recruitment going?
Say it again.
Your recruitment?
We do have 6 people starting next week, 2 full-time, 4 part-time. I got another 4 kind of waiting in limbo for their certification. One of them has passed, and so we will push him through to the next level. And then last week, we had another round of interviews that we had 2 people for part-time, and they're gonna be pushed through, I mean, for lack of a better word, to be going into their part-time spots. So we really lean on our reserve squad members to fill in when people need to be sick or vacation or something like that. And with our open spots that we have, they really help out a lot. So, and our pool right now is pretty bleak. So we're trying to rebuild that as well.
Questions, sir?
Director, great report. I like the transparency, and I appreciate your leadership. The recruitment and hiring shows well of your leadership.
Thank you.
Any update on the new fire EMS building?
Yes, you want me to go ahead and do it? All right, it was in his, so July 1st is the grand opening. You're cordially invited to that at 11 a.m. Approximately 11 to 2, it's going to be a come and go type of thing. But at 11 o'clock is when we're going to have an open remarks from the fire chief, myself, and a walkthrough of the station. So,
Thank you for the update.
yep,
What time?
11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
On the 1st.
Yes, sir.
Well, that way we can have fireworks right away.
And that is the first day that we will be housed in that station. So the last couple of weeks, Crossland has been doing a good job finishing up the punch list that has been noted on our end. And then we've been moving stuff in as far as appliances, bedding, anything that we need to basically live there. We've been pretty hard the last couple of weeks moving stuff in. So,
Thank you.
yep, thank you.
Well, I just want to encourage anyone in the community that likes
Yes.
to see what a modern, update, top-notch facility looks like to take the time and do the walkthrough.
Yes, anybody and everybody is invited. So.
I'm so much appreciative of the sales tax being approved, and this was a 2017 project that's coming to fruition 8 years later. So the wisdom of our taxpayers voting in that 30-cent sales tax and all the work that was done through it. Then we have this sales tax that continues on the books for an additional 7 years to help offset the cost to the city of maintaining that, and that sales tax will go off then in 32. With that, none of the sales tax, however, is going to help offset the MS side of the employee matter. That'll still be borne by our budget.
Yep, but anything that deals with the station, even on our end, is covered by the sales tax. So, but, yeah.
Well, it's good that we have a good working relationship with the chief of the city to make this come in. I think your response time is going to be cut in half
It'll be dramatically reduced. It'll be great.
because
So.
there's a lot of calls on that side of the
Yes.
world, and that's where the city's growing, and the foresight and the planning is coming to fruition, and of course, the cost savings to homeowners by the use of the sales tax is, in my opinion, incredibly wise and providing a great opportunity. It's a fabulous building that will make people proud to want to work for the city and the county in that building. Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are now on the agenda for administrator update, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I wanted to draw your attention to the unaudited fund balance report that you have in your packet. It has a new look to it. There's been some things that have been added, and I just want to talk to you about that briefly. First of all, we've provided a definition so that anybody that would see the report would be able to understand the definitions of the various fund categories, and that information is kind of helpful in understanding the report. The report's also been reconfigured to be able to correspond to the audit. So when you see the various categories in the audit, this report's broken down the same way, so it's a little easier for a person to compare those categories and those numbers. And probably
I really like the outline of the report that shows us expenditures to date for 2025 budgeting purposes. Those two things that you have added help us on this side of the bench understand where we're at in during the budget year.
Sure, thank you. And then at the very end, where you get down to the overall fund totals, it is broken down to a couple of subtotal categories. One is for the total county funds. These are the funds that the county manages and controls, and then the fiduciary or the non-county funds. We broke that out to make it a little easier to have you give anybody who's looking at this report a little bit better idea on which are the county funds, which are the non-county funds. Because we do, as a county, we get the taxes in from the citizens for all the taxing jurisdictions, and then those that are going to the school district, the Garden City Community College, and various other special districts, it's distributed out to them. So it gives them a better way to see how that money flows in and out.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yes, excellent report.
I think that's all I have.
All right, well, I would just, my 10 cents worth on this fund when we meet with the auditors for budgeting purposes is how we can use some of the funds that are available to avoid any tax increase in the budgeting year. I think it is vitally important that this year is not the year to raise the rate. We can't change fair market value determinations. That's constitutionally embedded in the process, but we can affect the rate. And we're just one taxing unit of several if people will look at their tax statements.
Yeah. One thing I did want to mention, that this is the work of the fiscal committee. I mean, it's not my work, it's the fiscal committee has met and talked a lot about this and tried to come up with a way to make it a little bit more user-friendly.
Very informative.
Our compliments to the fiscal committee.
Would you go ahead and publicly state who that is, Gary, so that the viewing public would know who that is?
Okay, the county clerk, the county treasurer, we have the Captain Orbaugh with the Sheriff's Department, our Human Resources Director, and myself are the ones that sit on that committee.
Well, very good. We look forward to your continued work, especially with the refinement of the budget coming up in that session. All right, that leads us to governance. Madam Clerk?
Nothing new specifically added to that
All right.
calendar of events.
We'll go ahead and do commissioners' reports. I didn't do much of that last session, so we'll start left to right. Commissioner Oods.
End of May, I did attend the Great Plains Development Incorporated Board. I'm still learning quite a bit on that. And Bob's been real patient with me and guiding me through. Then in 1st of June, we had a meeting on the law enforcement center renovation and jail. We created a speaker bureau. The speaker bureau, the preliminary speaker bureau, the first group, involves the interim county administrator, the city manager, board chair, the mayor, as well as the chief and the sheriff. The marketing tools are coming along very well, so that we send out the same message. I think the one thing that we ask is if you know of or can help set up a speaking engagement, if you would let Leanne and Dory know, so we can put it on the events and move forward. I did miss a meeting that I'll get with Gary. I missed, I was out of town.
2 demerits.
All right. Give me 4, I don't care.
I know that it was important business, and I say that because Commissioner Oots, we have really worked with the people that the city and community college in particular on developing a common messaging plan. Kudos to the city staff. I forget her name, but she's been at each meeting, and I shouldn't do that. I'm poor with names. I'm sure Matt will recognize her when he has a chance. But the speaking points are really important for the half-cent sales tax. We do have 2 meetings planned so far, starting in July.
On the same day, I believe.
Same day. Yeah, it'll be one of those fun days at the office, so to speak. But it is really important for all of us as commissioners, and especially Commissioner Oots and I, who are working on the LEC half-cent sales tax information program, is that our partners in government have been really supportive of what we're trying to do, which is, of course, to build a new jail and to remodel an existing 43-year-old building to modern standards and provide another 40 years of law enforcement services to our community. Back to your report.
No, you're fine. I think you hit some key points. This is recognized through all of our taxing entities. It's very important. Our school district was involved in our preliminary meeting, as well as the Holcomb Commission, the City Commission, or the mayor from the city, and Matt Allen and some of their folks. But really appreciate the partnership. It really sends a positive message, I think, to the community that we as all of our taxing entities are looking out what's best for our community and providing the best service that we can. So I think we have a meeting later in July, but I've got to meet with Gary because I did miss one meeting, and I want to get an update on that.
Right, we are set the week following those 2 presentations to refine the information in response to questions and answers at those 2 original meetings.
But if anyone on the commission or anyone in the community would like us to speak, please let us know. And I love to volunteer the chair to come speak, because I'm not on the speaking bureau at this point, but the speaking bureau may grow as we move forward.
Right, we're a work in progress, but at the same time, we'd like to reach out to as many groups that would like to know more about the half-cent sales tax resolution that we are going to pass in the first meeting in August. That sets the timeline for a vote in November. And Madam Clerk, we don't have any changes in that timeline, do we? All right. So no changes in the timeline. The committee will meet after our first couple of presentations, and commissioners, we're not saying that we shouldn't address our constituents. What I am saying is I'd like to have a uniform message. That's what this committee is trying to do, is to have a uniform message, and that messaging is vitally important. And I don't want to steal the thunder of those presentations, but I will emphasize that this is not a want assessment. This is a needs assessment, and will be presented to the taxpayers in such a fashion that they will be determining the best methodology for our community going forward, or whether it's going to be ad valorem tax or sales tax. So that's kind of the bottom line, Commissioner Oots, and I hope you concur.
I do, Chair.
Very good. Commissioner German?
I do have a question for Commissioner Utes. So if we have a group that we would like for you to speak to, should we point that out to you, or who would we?
I think Leanne and Dory would be the best so that they can put on the calendar and then reach out to the Speaking Bureau and see who would be available.
Okay, thank you.
What we have done in that regard is we've set up a Teams account, a messaging system that Leanne can use so that you can have access to it, and it shows us when the presentations are and who's going to be doing the speaking. And then the concept is that we have one administrator and one commissioner from each, the city and the county, at those presentations to hear the comments and to provide feedback for our meeting following those presentations, and probably some constructive criticism of the speaker when they went off the rail a little bit, that I'm prone to do. So
We all are.
Thank you. Okay, for my report, I attended the ribbon cutting for the Bob Halloran Park in the city, and it's beautiful. I don't know if you've seen it, but and we stood there in the
You gotta
rain.
Tell me,
and-
where is this?
It is east, kind of by the Cambridge Edition, east of Spruce, or, excuse me, south of Spruce, east of the bypass.
Okay.
now if you go east on Spruce from the bypass to Susan Street, straight south, and it looks to be 2 to 3 acres of wonderful green space with a walking trail around it. And then there is a walking trail all the way along the south side of Cambridge. You can walk all the way over to Charles Stone's. And I don't want to quote on that, but it looks to be, could be suitable for bicycles and push carts and those kinds of things
Okay.
as well.
Good.
In that area over at the school, they have another walking park there, and you have the open space around Charles Stone's. And as Matt made the presentation at that speech, Commissioner Gurman, I'm probably taking a little bit of your time, but Matt said it was 10 years in the making of dedicating this park. 10 years. And
Initially, they were at another location in that area, but they ended up kind of trading some property so that we could get some housing that's not in the floodplain. The park is in the floodplain, which is not a problem, having the city park there.
No.
But a nice park,
Well-
much needed on that part of town.
and if I may, Bob Halloran's children, two, a son and a daughter, attended the dedication, and Bob, for those who don't know, was our city manager for years and years. Was schooled under the tutelage of Dean Wiley, who was the city manager when I arrived in this town in 1984, and Bob was its longtime assistant. And Matt spoke kindly. Of course, Matt was the assistant manager under Bob's tutelage for years.
Grow
and
your
years.
own.
You could grow your own. And so we continue to benefit from the heritage, and naming that park for Bob was, you could tell it was impactful to the manager and to his family, and it's a nice gesture for the years of dedicated public service. And I'm sorry I'm taking your time.
I also participated, as I think each of the commissioners did individually, with a Teams interview with Raf Tellis regarding the internal scan, so I'm excited to hear the results of that once they've gone through all the departments. I attended Cocktails and Conversation that is done by the Chamber of Commerce involving the Kansas College of Osteopathic Medicine. Their freshman students were there, and we got to visit with them and try to recruit them to Garden City. So that was really neat. And as I think Lana said, they were impressed with Garden City and the area. They, as a lot of people in the eastern part of the state kind of think we're out in the boonies, but we're not so much anymore. I did attend the Kansas County's Human Resource Association Conference in Salina on supervisor training. That was interesting. Learned a lot about HR and how to be the boss without being bossy, which was really a good class. He was able to utilize some humor, and I did learn some things, so it was really good. I am in continuing conversations regarding the homeless encampments. I met with Bob Lewis, who's our state representative, and Lance Rupp, who's a representative of the Sagebrush HOA. And we decided to have a meeting, which this initial meeting is invitation only, but we've invited community leaders and people involved in more, what do I want to say, philanthropic activities in the city and the county. We want to approach this situation with compassion, and we realize that there are two parts of this. We're working with Representative Lewis on legislative action, which I think he's on the right track with that, looking at authorizing the county and the city law enforcement agencies to deal with these issues. At this point, we legally cannot, because it is state jurisdiction. So, and I think that, we're just trying to get the word out there right now to people that, unfortunately, at this point, there's nothing that we can do. But when we hopefully can pass some legislation that will allow us to deal with that, then perhaps the bigger problem begins, and that is how to do this as a humanitarian effort, and if we can offer some options to people who are homeless or who have chosen a different lifestyle. We want to work together on that, potentially put together a task force to address that. So just wanted to put that out there. That meeting is coming up next week, so there are a few of us that will be attending that, and then we'll look at bringing in a bigger audience as we progress through this. And that's all I have.
All right, Commissioner Jones.
Since I've been out of pocket for a while, the only thing, I did miss the update on the new EMS building, but Gary, somebody from here, buildings maintenance attended the meeting, I'm sure, so.
Yeah, I don't know, Nolan, do you have a report you want to make on that? I think basically where we're at right now, the foundations are going along. One of the things that I might mention we're currently working on and have had a lot of conversations with Hutton. We've applied for a FEMA grant to help pay for the safe room that's going to be in the building. And if we are to get that, it would be a little over $300,000 is what we would get to help pay for that portion of the building. We're running close on time because we have to get FEMA's permission before that piece of the foundation begins, and that's probably right now scheduled for around June 24th. So we're running very close. We may or may not make it, but I know that our architect Goldberg and the Hutton construction folks are really working with us. The representative from the Kansas Department of Emergency Management has really been wonderful to work with and helping push this thing through. So we're hoping that we get that in the next few days. But you want to report anything, Nolan, on that?
No, like Gary said, we've been working with Brandy on that FEMA grant, and she did put it at high importance, so hopefully that does push it through.
Nolan, where are they on their underground stormwater storage? Is that work?
They're working on that right now. That's why you've probably seen that closure, so you can't go south on 8th Street currently. That's been closed for at least 3 days last week, weekdays. I didn't drive by there on the weekend, but it definitely had a detour on the way to work every day, so. But yeah, they're working on that. They got some foundations getting laid. I think we had a little rain, so they got pushed back, but they should be pouring pads here shortly, but
Our next scheduled meeting is?
tomorrow.
And And the Goldberg representative will be here and is going to meet with us and talk a little bit about the project. And
What time is that meeting?
8,
10
10 o'clock,
10?
and we'll meet with.
at the job site.
After that.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll try to make that.
Yeah, and I do want to mention that Nolan, since he's come on, I've asked him to kind of take the lead on that, to be at those meetings, because I can't always be there. And so I think it's provided a lot of continuity, so we can kind of stay up on top of that, because it's just, we have these weekly or
Bi-weekly.
bi-weekly meetings that come about, so.
Still at the site, correct?
In the trailer,
Okay.
yes. It's
Other than
rained
that-
every meeting, so we'll probably get rain tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, well, we had, obviously, a monthly meeting for Compass, and generally, usually doesn't have a June meeting, but I believe we're going to have a special one. Compass is doing a large remodel on the building on Fulton. It's a huge remodel for Garden City. It's 1.8 million by the time it's done or more. This is going to continue to provide expanded medical and behavioral health services in Garden City. It is going to be their administrative office, but it frees up a lot of space for therapeutic and professional services. Over on the east side, expanding a parking lot there to help get Compass parking off of the streets, which will be much appreciated by the neighbors, and get expanded parking around the professional services provisions there on the street, right? Anyway, that's escapes me. Spruce, excuse me. There we go. Anybody hear the gears clanging? That was me in my senior moment. Also, as I said, I attended the dedication service for Mr. Halloran's park, for the city dedication of that park, and in his honor, and it was widely attended by the community, and kudos to Matt and the rest of the city staff for enduring, that was a cold rain. It was just plain cold for the 1st of June. I guess we agrarians should not complain about rain in western Kansas, so we won't, nor the temperature, because it'll be hot before we know it. The meeting coming up with regard to the community leaders meeting, that's on the 24th, I believe, at 6 o'clock, here in the Carol Brown room. It is by invitation. It will be chaired by the vice chairman. I do plan to attend, and we'll ask that the sheriff attend that meeting also. He's on the list of persons to be there, as well as the county attorney and county counselor, Mr. Lewis, and Mr. Pishney, our representatives from Garden City. I believe Dr. Clifford will be there. I haven't got confirmation. Did you get confirmation on that?
I'm not for sure.
Sometimes his schedule is a little different than everybody's, so I wouldn't say different, just hectic. And so hopeful the state senator can be there as well to provide the information. This will be an informational meeting, but it's designed to find out what we can do, first of all, to inform the public better as to the nature of the problem. It seems that the public has always jumped to a conclusion in their correspondence with me that there's a lack of enforcement action that can be made versus them waiting to understand what the nature of the problem is and be better informed prior to demanding action or information. The message, I guess, that I would like to say for all those who are actually wanting to be informed as to what the nature of the problem is, this is our opportunity to do it right, to act in, as the vice chairman said, in a humane way. And the lawyer in me does not want to create any liability for the taxpayers, and we are not going to do that. So that is my report. That gets us to the last thing on our agenda, which is an executive session. Madam Counselor, is there a need for an executive session?
There is.
And what is its purpose? Who should attend and for how long?
It's for attorney-client purposes regarding ongoing contractual negotiations. We'll need the interim county administrator, myself, and the board present in that meeting. We could go until 10:45.
So 25 minutes?
Yes.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? Been moved and seconded to go into executive session for this purpose as stated by the county counselor. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We're in executive session. We'll be back at 10:05. Everybody ready? All right, motion to go out of executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Moved and seconded to go out of executive session. Any comments? No? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're back in regular session. I'll confirm that no action was taken. Vice Chairman Gurman, you have a comment?
I do have a comment. I would just like to, first of all, I wanted to ask, who is doing all of the social media posts?
Oh, that would be Cheyenne Wooster. She is a new administrative assistant in my department, and we noticed her proficiency, and so we've had her doing a little more, helping out HR with some activities and events.
Well, she's doing a fantastic job. I'm really happy to see that happening. She's, really getting the word out there on a lot of things and doing some fun things as well. I appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll pass that on.
Anything else?
Nope.
Is there any other business before the commission? Then Commissioner Oots, it's your responsibility to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second, Vice Chairman?
Second.
Oh, are you the new Vice Chairman?
No, pass it on to me.
All right. Moved and seconded to adjourn. No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you.